Sheikh, have you started the lesson?
Not how to switch on. No, it's on. Okay. Close this one. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We had stopped at الحوار الثاني. It says انظر واستمع وأعد. It says look, listen and repeat. طيب خيبر, you can be الابن, and عالم غير, you can be الأب.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. كيف اعتمرت يا أبي؟ How was your...
Again,
كيف اعتمرت يا أبي?
Okay, if you want to skip the همزة في الوصل you can, or if you want to read كيف اعتمرت. Carry on.
How was your umrah, يا father?
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الأب وصلت إلى الميقات عند الظهر. I arrived at the miqat at Zuhr.
وماذا فعلت في الميقات؟ What did you do in the miqat?
Yeah, at the miqat, basically. Yeah, in the miqat, yeah, anything.
خلعت ثوبي. I took off my thawb. ولبست ملابس الإحرام. And I put on my ihram dress. ولبيت بالعمرة. And I did my umrah.
لا, from labbaik, so it's like basically from labbaik literally means I am present to you, I'm ready to serve you, Allah. When a person says labbaik Allahumma labbaik, it's okay. So it's like labbayt here, labbaytu bil umrah is like I entered into ihram for umrah. Literally, I entered into umrah.
Can we say perform?
No, he hasn't yet performed, because they're talking about the miqat. So as you learn in Hajj, let's say if this here is Makkah, around Makkah there's a certain boundary, okay? You're not allowed to enter unless you're in ihram, whether it's for Hajj or Umrah. So this person is at the miqat, he's not allowed to go past unless he's wearing his ihram, and he starts, he says his labbaik Allahumma Umrah. That's how I started my Umrah also. But not to be confused, the fact that he's not yet at the Kaaba. Carry on.
ومتى وصلت إلى المسجد الحرام? And when did you enter to Masjid al-Haram?
Wasala is to reach. Dakhala is to enter.
When did you reach Masjid al-Haram?
وصلت بعد العصر. I arrived after Asr.
بما شعرت في المسجد الحرام.
What does that mean? From shu'ur, to feel. So he's saying, what did you feel in Masjid al-Haram?
شعرت بالسرور. I was happy.
Oh yeah, I felt happy.
I felt happy.
كم شوطا طفت حول الكعبة؟
How many rounds
did you do around the Kaaba?
طفت 7 أشواط. I did 7 rounds. ثم صليت ركعتين خلف مقام إبراهيم. Then I performed 2 rak'ah behind the مقام إبراهيم.
ماذا فعلت بعد ذلك؟ فعلت.
فعل, to do. ماذا فعلت? What did you do after that?
سعيت بين الصفا والمروة 7 أشواط. سعيت is to run.
سعيت, I. From sa'a is
I
literally
ran.
to move.
I ran between Safa and Marwa 7 times, 7 rounds. ثم حلقت رأسي. حلقت رأسي.
حلقة, to shave. So then I shaved my head.
Then I shaved my head.
وأين خلعت ملابس الإحرام? Where did you wear? Where did you remove?
خلع is to take out, remove, yeah.
خلعتها في الفندق. I took them off at the hotel.
Well then. So if you notice here, they're teaching us what's some of the compulsory things, some of the things you have to do in Umrah. First is fiqh. You have to have your ihram, okay? And you get into ihram before reaching the, before entering the miqat, and you learn about the miqat. Pillar of Umrah is tawaf, as well as sa'i, and then to come out of this ihram to shave the head, okay? Here's your vocabulary. Nuzha, you can read and translate.
Yes. Al-Miqat.
So al-miqat is boundary.
The boundary.
Yes, so if you look here, hold on. If you look here, there's supposed to be Makkah in the middle. And then north of Makkah is Medina. And then you've got, here's Jeddah. Jeddah is a port city. Going towards the south is Yemen. And going towards the east is Najd. So as you'll take in fiqh, that there's 5 mawaqit. Okay? Al-Hulayfa for the people of Medina, Dhatu Irq for the people of Iraq, Qarnul Manazil for the people of Najd, Yalamlam for Yemen, and which one did I mention? I think Dhatu Irq. Okay. Is Jeddah part of the miqat or not? Difference of opinion. The furthest away from Mecca, the furthest miqat is Dhul Hulayfa, is in Medina, also known as Abiyar Ali. Generally, that's why you find people when they're leaving Medina, wear their ihram and they'll come. As for coming from this side, you've got Ta'if, so they have in As-Sayl al-Kabir. And there's a few, there's Al-Juhfa. Al-Juhfa for the people of Sham. Al-Juhfa currently not in use. So whenever you're entering from one of these places, you have to wear your ihram. And if you're flying over and you're passing the boundary, you have to have been in ihram before you get the ihram. Is not a white clothing. Ihram is the niyyah to get into the state where you consider now some things which were halal become haram upon you. So at times a person may forget the white cloth, for example. He can still enter into a state of ihram with his normal clothes, but he'll have to give or pay a penalty. Inshallah, you take this in Hajj and Umrah. As for the people of Makkah, if they want to perform Umrah, they go to what's called Adna al-Hil, the closest place which is outside the Haram. So the closest generally is Tan'im, or where they say now Masjid Aisha. But there are other places which are part of Hil, out of the Haram boundary. That's when they want to perform Umrah. And as for Hajj, from wherever they are, they wear their ihram and they carry on for Hajj. That's for the people of Makkah, those who are residing in Makkah. Carry on. Malabis al-Ihrami.
Malabis al-Ihrami, the ihram clothes.
Ra's.
Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Ra's head. Baina bald.
بين no
الصف
no بين between
بين between الصفا صفا
yeah صفا mountain
المروة the Marwa Mount يسعى to
سعى
see
يسعى is literally like to move. Okay, so here a person is making sa'i, they're going between the two, they moving between the two. So Allah says وَإِذَا تَوَلَّى سَعَى فِي الْأَرْضِ, and sa'a at times can mean to move at relative speed. Okay, so you can just say here to move.
to move. Okay. يلبي to meet يحلق to shave
يلبي, what did you translate يلبي as?
يلبي meet
No, not necessarily meat. No, not meat. Anyone got a better translation for yulabbi? It's from
Enter is
talbiya.
entering.
Yeah, no, it's not referring to entering. There we translate as entering because of the context. But yulabbi is when a person is making talbiya and saying labbaik Allahumma labbaik. That is talbiya. So yulabbi is the verb, the action of making that labbaik. Okay, carry on.
okay. يلحق to shave
يحلق.
يحلق to shave يصل to arrive
To reach.
to reach يلبس to wear يخلع
يخلع.
يخلع to take off.
Well done. طيب خيبر, let me ask you. It says تدريب, رتب الأحداث كما وردت في النص. You've never taken this before. They say, they've given you sentences. They're saying put them in order as they came in the passage above. Why are they trying to teach you this? They're trying to teach you how to perform Umrah. What goes in order. Okay, right, so start.
يصل إلى مسجد الحرام
No.
يحلق
No.
شعرته.
What goes first? Take a look at them. I'll give you a minute. Alam Ghair, you can start. What goes first?
يصل إلى الميقات.
يصل إلى الميقات. Okay, he reaches the miqat. Okay, next.
يلبس ثوب الإحرام.
What's that?
يلبس ثوب الإحرام.
Okay. Khaybar, next.
يصل إلى يسعى بين الصفا ويطوف حول الكعبة. يلبي بالعمرة.
يلبي بالعمرة. So person he's at the miqat. What did you say number 2 was? He wears ihram. Okay, he wears يلبس ثوب الإحرام. And number 3 is he makes his talbiya. Okay, he starts off. Number 4, Alam Ghair.
Number 4 يصل إلى المسجد الحرام.
Khaybar, 5. Khaybar.
I'm just checking. يصلي يصل إلى يطوف حول الكعبة.
Yes. يطوف حول الكعبة.
Did you say يصل, so from يصل إلى المسجد الحرام then يطوف حول الكعبة? Huh?
Yes.
And then?
Then يصلي خلف مقام إبراهيم.
Okay. Then?
يسعى بين الصفا والمروة.
يسعى not يسعي. يسعى. Carry on. يسعى بين الصفا والمروة. Then?
يذهب إلى الفندق. يحلق
Does he shave his head or go to the hotel first?
Yes. يحلق شعره.
Okay, and then?
يذهب إلى الفندق.
And then?
يخلع ثوب الإحرام.
Excellent. It says انظر واستمع واعد. Here they're going to teach you about Hajj. Let's see how wrong that is. Okay. Let's take this tomorrow because then you've got a رتب الأحداث. Here they're going to teach you Hajj, how it starts, how you go through it. No, in fact, I need to explain this to you in fiqh, so let's read. Carry on.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. متى يبدأ الوقوف بعرفة? When did you start the...
No, so he's describing. So when you go for Hajj, there's a few places you need to go to. There's those which are compulsory and those which are not compulsory. So here he's starting off straight off with what's compulsory. He's saying, when does wuquf bi Arafah is, when does a person remain in Arafah? Literally translates to standing in Arafah. But you don't have to stand there. You can sit, you can lie down, etc. So for a person's Hajj to be accepted, one of the pillars, one of the conditions is to have went or gone to Arafah. Okay? So he's asking, متى يبدأ الوقوف بعرفة? When does this standing or remaining in Arafah start? عالم غير.
يبدأ غدا في اليوم التاسع بعد الزوال. It starts
tomorrow
on the 9th day of Zawal.
So here they're talking about the 9th of Dhul Hijjah.
Okay. Yeah, 9th
after
of Dhul
Zawal.
Hijjah.
After Zawal. So on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah is called Yawm al-Tarwiyah. Tarwiyah is from the word is to rest. So generally the people are in Mina. It's not compulsory at the beginning to go to Mina. Okay? So it's considered a day of rest where the Hujjaj prepare themselves for the major day, which is the day of Arafah. So he's asking, saying, when do we have to stand in Arafah? He's saying it's tomorrow on the 9th. When does it start? Anytime? No. Starts after Zawal. Okay? So let's say a person goes there in the morning and then leaves. Then that wouldn't be counted. Carry on.
ومتى ينتهي? When does it start?
When does it finish? ينتهي.
ينتهي عند الفجر. It ends at Fajr.
Right. So now, this time of standing in Arafah starts on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah at Zawal. Okay, just after Zawal. When does it end? ينتهي عند الفجر. It ends at the time of Fajr. So that means in that time, a person has to have been into Arafah. And generally the people, they go there, and then from Dhuhr or Zawal it starts. Then after Maghrib, they leave. Some people unable to make it, they come at night. Even if they go over the aeroplane, even if it's a moment, especially in the night, it's still counted. Carry on. Then he's asking, okay, so now here they want to teach you about the Salah, how you perform your Dhuhr and Asr in Arafah. Right?
هل نصلي الظهر والعصر في عرفات?
Do we perform Dhuhr and Asr in Arafat? Right?
نعم جمعا وقصرا وقت الظهر. Yes.
Jam is when you gather or combine the Salah, and Qasr is when you shorten them. So you read 2 Dhuhr and 2 Asr together. So as soon as the Salah starts at the time of Dhuhr, so just after Zawal, they make Iqamah and they read Salatul Dhuhr 2 raka'at, and they read Salatul Asr 2 raka'at. Okay? Why is that? It's for Nusuk. Nusuk means it's part of Hajj, and to make it so a person carries on and is free to make dua for the day. There is, as far as I know, in one of the madhahib, the Hanafi madhab, they don't take by the jam' and the qasr here. So carry on, but the majority do. In fact, a lot of Hanafis now these days still do jam' and qasr waqt al-dhuhr. Carry on.
ومتى نذهب إلى مزدلفة? And when did we go to the Muzdalifah?
When do we go to Muzdalifah?
نذهب بعد غروب الشمس. We go after the sunset. ونصلي فيها المغرب والعشاء جمعا وقصرا. And we pray Maghrib and Isha together and Qasr.
Jam' and Qasr. So Qasr is where you shorten the Salah. So Isha will, instead of 4 will be 2. So here, generally after the sun sets, the people now go to Muzdalifah. That's why if you open YouTube and you see some of the videos, you'll see all chaos, everybody just waiting. These days they have like a traffic light. The minute the light changes, then the people, all the cars move from Arafah, they move towards Muzdalifah. And the people spend the night in Muzdalifah. Some people walk, some people take the train, some people go by bus, etc. And you're supposed to read your Maghrib and Isha there in Muzdalifah, and generally the people just sleep in the open, under the stars. Carry on.
وماذا نفعل بعد ذلك? And what do you do after that?
What do we do after that?
نذهب إلى منى قبل شروق الشمس. And then we go to Mina before the sunrise.
Yes, so that would mean they had read their Fajr, and then before sunrise they leave Mina and they carry on. They leave Muzdalifah and they go towards Mina. Carry on.
ونرمي الجمرة الكبرى ثم نذبح الهدي ونحنق رؤوسنا.
So this is the 10th day. Hold on, this is the 10th day. The 9th we said was the day of Arafah, and in the night is Muzdalifah, and then the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah for all of us here who are not making Hajj will be Eid. For the Hujjaj, they've got a lot of work to do on the 10th also. So they go to Mina before the sun rises. Okay, what do they have to do? The Jamarat, where people call Shayateen, it's not actually Shayateen, it's the place where the Shaitan came to Ibrahim alayhi salam. So at 3 positions. So they say here, they've got names for them. So they say, Narmil Jamrat al-Kubra, only the big one, we pelt. Okay, so people are going to Mina to pelt. And on that day also, they slaughter their animals. Okay, and you learn in making Hajj, there's 3 types of nusuk. A person doing ifrad, where they only performing Hajj, no Umrah. A person doing tamattu', where in these months of Hajj, he made Umrah, he came out of Ihram, and he's making Hajj in the same time. Here he must have a sacrificial animal. Or if a person is doing what's called Qiran. Qiran is where they mix Umrah and Hajj together. Okay, so one of the things they have to do is Nadhbahul Hadi. They have to slaughter their animals. Now how it is people just buy coupons, and it's done by the government. Then وَنَحْلِقُ رُؤُوسَنَا, and they shave their heads. And they've and now it's called, they've come out of Ihram, but not the whole of it. There's still a little bit left. That's why I say Tahallul al-Awwal. They've come out, but the first coming out, so there's still a few things they're not allowed to do, and you learn that in fiqh. Carry on.
ومتى ينتهي
وماذا تفعل بعد ذلك؟
I said
وماذا نفعل بعد ذلك؟
نذهب إلى المسجد الحرام لطواف الإفاضة وسعي الحج.
We go to Masjid al-Haram for what's called Tawaf al-Ifada. Tawaf al-Ifada is also a pillar of Hajj. And to make sa'i between al-Safa wal-Marwa. Here, if a person is able to go on this day, or if they're unable to go, then they join the Tawaf al-Ifada or Tawaf al-Wada. Carry on.
ومتى نطوف طواف الوداع, and when do we do the tawaf
of wada', the farewell tawaf. Now, when a person is leaving Makkah.
بعد رمي الجمرات
بعد فتح
بعد رمي الجمرات في اليوم الثاني عشر أو الثالث عشر. After the Rami of Jamarat on the 12th of
on the 12th or the 13th.
Or 13th.
Okay, so some people, Allah says, وَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ فِي أَيَّامٍ مَعْدُودَاتٍ فَمَنْ تَعَجَّلَ فِي يَوْمَيْنِ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ. Whoever stays just for 2 days, i.e. 11th and the 12th, then there's no harm. وَمَنْ تَأَخَّرْ فَلَا إِثْمَ عَلَيْهِ لِمَنِ اتَّقَى. Hence, whoever delays and stays on the 13th, no harm, but then they will have to pelt, and you'll take all that in Hajj. So basically what they've told you, a summarized version of Hajj, as well, it will help you in Kitab al-Hajj. Person, as we said, starts off Yawm al-Tarwiyah on the 8th in Mina. The 9th is the day of Arafah. They must stand on that day or pass by, or at least spend a little bit of time in Arafah. And then in that evening, they go to Muzdalifah. The 10th for us is the day of Eid, who are not making Hajj. For those making Hajj, they've got a lot of work to do. They go to Mina, they pelt, Tawaful Ifadah, they shave, as well as they cut their animal. And after that, they go make Tawaful Ifadah and Sa'i bayn al-Safa wal-Marwa. Then they have to pelt the next day, and they have to pelt the next day. And after that, Tawaful Wada' when they leaving. I'll read these quickly. Al-Wuqufu bi Arafah is to stop in Arafah. You don't have to climb the mountain here. There's no virtue of climbing the mountain. Arafat or Arafah is a place of Arafah. Ghurub al-Shams, the sun set. Al-Hadi is the animal that needs to be slaughtered. Okay, so what you are giving. Shuruq al-Shams, sunrise. Muzdalifah is a place. Mina is a place. Ru'us, heads, people. Al-Jamratul Kubra is the big jamara that needs to be pelted. Yarmil Jamarat, to pelt the Jamarat. Zawal al-Shams is when the sun is in the middle or midday. Rajul is a man, and Yadhbahu is to slaughter. So I hope that gave you a good insight to Hajj. Any questions? No questions? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. After finishing Kitab al-Zakah, we move on to Kitab al-Hajj in Fiqh. Okay? Hajj, we've taken a brief overview. You guys are aware of what goes on in Hajj, different days, etc. When you're looking in the books of Fiqh, they first start off with conditions. What makes Hajj compulsory a person? If any person performs Hajj, is it compulsory or not? We start off by saying Hajj is compulsory upon the person who is able to perform it. Allah says, وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى النَّاسِ حِجُّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. It's compulsory upon the one who is able to, okay, once in a lifetime. As the Messenger ﷺ, when asked about the pillars of Islam, he says, وَصَوْمُ رَمَضَانُ وَحَجُّ الْبَيْتِ, and making Hajj of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When does Hajj become compulsory upon a person? Okay. First condition is, they say, obviously a person must be a Muslim. Okay. So let's say, for example, a non-Muslim goes for Hajj. Let's say they went as a tourist and they did everything. Okay. And then after 1 year, they accepted Islam. Here we'll say, you haven't made Hajj, that's the pillar of Islam, you haven't fulfilled it, because when you made that Hajj, you went as a tourist. Okay, you are not a Muslim at the time. So for a person's Hajj to be correct, as well as any other ibadah, they need to be a Muslim. Number 2 is they need to be baligh, for it to be counted as them having done it. Okay, so baligh means they are of the age of puberty or more. If a child makes Hajj or a youngster, his Hajj will still be counted. He'll be rewarded. But as we know in the Quran and the Hadith, Hajj is compulsory once in a lifetime. So it's like a debt. It's something you owe if you're able to do it. So if a person did it as a child, they still owe that Hajj. Why? Because they were not baligh at the time. Once a person reaches bulugh, that compulsory sets in, and if they do it, it will fall away. They're no more required to perform a second Hajj. Aqil, person must be sane. Okay. So if a mental person, completely mental, doesn't know what he's doing, goes to perform this ibadah, it's not counted as him having fulfilled that pillar of Islam. Number 4 is he must be hur, means not a slave. And that is non-existent today. So for example, in the old days when there were slaves, Hajj was not compulsory on the slaves to go until they were free. And if somebody made Hajj whilst they were a slave, and let's say they got freed later on, they go and make that Hajj again. Okay. Number 5 for Hajj is what they call istita'ah. Istita'ah is ability. Okay. Istita'ah. What type of ability? Firstly, physical ability. Okay. That's why one of the women who came for Hajj, and she's complained to the Messenger ﷺ, says, Inna abi la yathbutu ala rahila. My father, he can't even sit on the animal. How can he come for Hajj? So let's say somebody who is terminally ill, somebody who is bedridden, etc. Even if all these other, they have the resources, etc., and they're unable to go, Hajj is not compulsory upon them. Why are we talking about compulsory and not compulsory? Because if they're unable to perform this pillar of Islam, inshallah, they're not sinful. So istita'ah. Also, a person should be able and capable with their wealth. So let's say, for example, it costs you $10,000 to go for Hajj, to buy a package, and you only have $1,000. You don't have. Hajj is not compulsory upon you. So you won't be sinful. You won't be held liable to say, oh, why didn't you go for Hajj? Whereas a person, let's say, who's got all this in order, and they carry on delaying now, and they're not going for Hajj, they've got millions of dollars, they just don't want to go and fulfill this pillar of Islam, they may be asked about it. Okay. And also, what comes under this, or some people put it separately, is being able to reach Makkah, and it comes under Amnut Tariq, the fact that the road is safe. In those days, especially when they used to travel in caravans. Caravans means a group of camels, group of horses, etc. If there were robbers on the road, people who would murder and people who would steal and people who would rape, etc., 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 they would consider that this road is not safe. So if the road is not safe for you from where you are going to Makkah, then it's not compulsory for you to go. Okay, say I'm not tariq. And also, what's included in this istita'ah, some people say, is azad wa rahila, for you to have enough provision. So we spoke about provision financially, or a provision for the people who you are leaving behind if you are the breadwinner, as well as provision for yourself when you go for Umrah. So when you're there, you have enough money, you have enough food, you have enough water, you have a place to stay, and you've also got the means to reach there. You understand? And then in the books of fiqh, you find an extra shart, extra condition. They say a woman must go with her mahram. Okay? Mahram. Who's a mahram? A husband, or let's say one of her relatives, her son, etc. Son who's old, her father, her brother, etc. She must go with a mahram as long as she's away from Makkah more than masafat qasr, more than the distance of where Salah is shortened. And this is the Hanafi madhab, the Maliki madhab, the Hanafi madhab as well as other madhahib. The Maliki madhab have an opinion which a lot of people now take by today, where they say that a mahram is required if the road is not safe. However, if it's safe and a woman is in a group where there's other women and it's safe, okay, times of safety, people are safe, it's a large group, nobody's going to trouble her, etc., and they allow her to go without a mahram. But it's always best to come out of khilaf where the scholars differ here. Person able to go with a mahram goes with a mahram, and they stress on this. Now, what happens if a non-Muslim goes for Hajj? We mentioned here is Hajj won't be counted. That's why if you look at these shurut, some of them are shurut al-sihha, which means these conditions dictate, if they are fulfilled, whether the Hajj will be accepted or not, whether it will be correct or not. So one of them is Islam. Bulugh, if a person is young, he can go for Hajj. His Hajj will still be correct. However, it won't fall away. Once he reaches the age of puberty, he'll still owe that pillar of Islam. Aqil, his Hajj is not counted because a mad person doesn't have a niyyah which is correct. Hur, if a slave goes for Hajj, his Hajj will be counted, but it will be counted from his good deeds. The minute he's free, he'll still have to make that compulsory Hajj. Istita'ah, the fact that a person is able to, okay, ability, wealth-wise, ability, health-wise, ability when it comes to the road, etc. Here, let's say a person is really unwell, but they still take him, his Hajj will still be correct. So this is not from shurut al-sihha, okay, shurut al-wujub, this, whether it makes it compulsory or not. But let's say a person doesn't fulfill this condition but still goes, his Hajj will still be correct. As for mahram, we can say the scholars who said the mahram is compulsory, and let's say a woman goes without a mahram, they say her Hajj, as long as fulfilled properly, will still be correct, but she'll be sinful for not going without a mahram. Okay, do you understand? Any questions? These are shurut al-Hajj.
Sheikh, can you please re-explain on the part where you say if we go in a group or without a mahram, we will still get the sin?
That's according to the Maliki madhab. They have an opinion in the madhab that says that in times of safety, and if they're going in a large group, then a mahram is not required. And it's, even though it's a very minority opinion, it's majorly practiced in the world we live in today. I'm not speaking about right or wrong. I'm speaking about the fact that it's there. So also you find now when it comes to even local Hajj packages in Saudi, you've got some of them that say if a woman wants to go for Hajj, it's not, she doesn't have to go with a mahram. Whereas there's other companies who say that if a woman is going, her mahram must go with her. So on that opinion, obviously they would say that there's no sin because there's no, as long as there's no fitna and as long as the road, etc. is safe.
Jazakallah khairan.
Also, when it comes to some people today, I'm not speaking about right or wrong, I'm just stating a fact that it's there. When arguing about this, they say, no, today we live in a time of safety. Somebody jumps in an airplane and they go and they come back. Whereas the others, which are the majority, especially from the previous scholars, they say, no, the Messenger ﷺ said a woman mustn't travel more than 3 days and 3 nights without a mahram. And then they worked it out to what were you able to travel for 3 days and 3 nights before, and they worked it out to roughly 80 kilometers. So they say the minute you've left 80 kilometers, then ahkam of safar kick in. Then there's a back and forth to say, okay, why aren't you guys literal with the hadith and say 3 days and 3 nights? But then the counter argument to that is, okay, if you want to specify 3 days and 3 nights, that means if you're traveling from here, from where I am to England on a 10-hour flight, that means you mustn't make jam' and qasr if you're going for less than 3 days. So there's always a back and forth, but in all these masail, a lot of the times it's better to go with a safer opinion, better to go with better to come out of difference of opinion. And number 3, at times like Corona time, for example, where it was almost impossible to travel and it was extremely expensive to travel, when things opened, even those who took a stricter opinion, they had to take by this minority opinion to say that even though we don't agree with it here, we are forced to, and it's one of the opinions, so they took by it. So you have to gauge and you have to see. Another example I can give you, for example, it happens is, let's say if every case can be judged differently, and at the end of the day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who judges. You've got people who work in Saudi, for example, a woman who's working as a nurse and her family is far away in the Philippines. For her to make Hajj from the Philippines is extremely expensive. And for her to go with a mahram is even more expensive. And she's already there in Medina and she's got a local package allowing her to go. Do you tell her that no, you must bring your husband all the way from Philippines to go with you for Hajj? There's some people who will still argue that. Or do you say, okay, here, especially in this type of situation, it would be okay for you to go since you are already almost there and you're already living far away without a mahram anyway. So these are all points. Also, when it comes to a cost, when it comes to price, okay, the previous scholars would debate to say that the fact that a woman doesn't have a mahram, even if all the other shurut are fulfilled, Hajj does not become compulsory upon her. She won't be sinful. She won't be asked, why didn't you go for Hajj? And some say, no, let's go with the second opinion. Wallahu a'lam, Allah knows best. I'm teaching you just the different opinions and not choosing one over the other.
Sheikh, you mentioned istita'a. Is it
Yeah.
permissible to perform Hajj on borrowed money?
On what?
Like to borrow money
Yeah.
from someone and then
So it's permissible, not compulsory, but permissible. So let's say you need to go for Hajj, you don't have a cent to your name, and somebody says, okay, let me give you 10,000. Either they give you just like that, say go for Hajj, they send you for Hajj, fair and well, you can take it. Or they say, I'll give you money and you can pay me slowly, or you can pay me when you get back. If you want to take it, you can, but you're not obliged to. You're not obliged to take that favor. The fact that somebody is offering you 10,000 or 100,000 to go for Hajj, you're not obliged to take that money. You're allowed to if you want to. Any other questions? Inshallah, tomorrow we'll touch on the mawaqit, the boundaries. And there's two types of mawaqit. There's the physical boundaries, as we spoke about around Makkah. Then there's those which we can say are also called mawaqit, the time boundaries. So the fact that a person has to be performing, for example, if they're doing tamattu', or they're doing umrah and hajj, this umrah can't just be like at the beginning of the year. No, it's got to be in the within the 3 months. And we'll speak about those. Any other questions? No other questions? Hajj, whenever you're able to go. Just know that whoever's going for Hajj now, in the next about 10 years, it's going to be very, very, very hot. May, June, July, August, September, October, oh, very hot months, and you're coming 10 days ahead. So right now it's going to be in the peak of summer. As for Ramadan, I'm talking about in Makkah and Medina, then the weather is in the cooler months. So you're moving into April. Look at this. Right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We had taken this exercise. This is التدريب السادس. أجب عن الأسئلة التالية. Here they're asking you the question. They want you to answer with whatever answer you've got. عمر, أين تسكن؟
أسكن في الهند.
هل تسكن في شقة؟
لا، أسكن في بيت.
هل تسكن في بيت؟
نعم.
ما رقم بيتك؟ هل تسكن في شقة؟ هل تسكن؟ طيب، ما رقم بيتك؟
رقم بيتي 5.
طيب، who else is يا إبراهيم؟ ما رقم شقتك؟ إبراهيم؟
Yes.
Pardon?
ما
ما رقم شقتك? What number is your apartment?
did I give my actual apartment number?
Any number.
Oh, ثلاثة.
3. كم غرفة في بيتك يا إبراهيم؟ كم غرفة في بيتك? How many rooms in your house? Just answer like you've got a, you know, in a house. Huh?
5.
طيب كم غرفة في شقتك؟ عالم غير.
في شقتي 4 غرف.
أحسنت. في أي دور الشقة نزهة؟
3. 2.
بعدين 2. الدور الثاني second floor. ها؟ not 2 floor. طيب next says انظر واستمع واقرأ. Look and listen and read. What else is here? Sayyida, please read and translate.
بيت house شقة apartment غرفة room مطبخ kitchen
حمام here. حمام. Bathroom.
حمام bathroom مطبخ kitchen door floors سرير bed ستارة curtains أريكة sofa سجادة carpet غرفة النوم bedroom غرفة الجلوس sitting room.
Well then, says صل بين كل كلمتين متطابقتين. Join between the letters which are the words which are the same. Okay, so you've got نعم and نعم, تسكن and تسكن, etc. So very easy exercise. Then here you've got, says اقرأ, read, then put an X on the odd one out. So you've got غرف, then غرفة, غرف. The odd one out is غرفة. The others are plural. أريد and تريد. That's the odd one out because it's got a ta, etc. Same here. They want you to put an X next to the sentence that is the odd one out. هذه شقة جميلة. هذه الشقة جميلة. هذه الشقة جميلة. So the first one is out because this شقة doesn't have an alif lam. Okay. Then you got انظر واستمع واقرأ. طيب عمر, read and translate.
أسكن في بيت I live in the house. أسكن في شقة I live in the apartment. في شقة 3 غرف.
في الشقة 3 غرف.
في شقة 3 غرف.
join ألف لام. في الشقة.
في الشقة 3 غرف. In the apartment there are 3 rooms.
إبراهيم next.
الشقة في الدور الأول.
The apartment.
The apartment is in
on the first floor.
On the first floor. Isn't
Next
one واحد though?
Yeah, أول. Next, إبراهيم.
أريد مشاهدة الثلاث.
أثاثي.
أثاثي.
I would like.
I would like 3 sofas.
أثاث, not ثلاث. أثاث.
أثاث.
I would like to see the furniture. You need to revise this module. Last one, Ibrahim, again.
أريد مشاهدة المطبخ. I would like to see the
The kitchen.
kitchen.
So, inshallah, tomorrow we read that. Any questions? No questions.